발표를 시작하겠습니다. Today, I want to extend and supplement according to the last presentation. This presentation is divided into 5 parts, including how to make silver clay or copper clay, and the composition introduction of metal clay, and precautions for clay making, and some works exhibition using metal clay. First, let's review my summary of the properties of silver powder at the time of last presentation. This time, I want to introduce how to make silver clay or copper clay with silver or copper powder as materials. Metal clay has the characteristics of easy modeling and easy operation. It can be used to make some modeling which cannot be done by traditional metal techniques, such as various natural modeling and complex modeling. Of course, silver clay also has many disadvantages, which I will explain in the last notice part. This is a picture shown last time. It introduces 3 components of silver clay. It can be seen that there are many materials used. The method is relatively complex, and the accuracy of material quality distribution is relatively high. So these are professional ingredients for preparing silver clay, which need a lot of materials. But if you want to make metal clay at home, you can refer to the 3 methods I will introduce below. First one, this method comes from Alan Wiggins on YouTube. He introduced a kind of method for making bronze or copper clay. The material he uses include copper or bronze powder and methyl cellulose. His ratio is 3 spoons of copper powder plus 2 spoons of methyl cellulose. After shaking in a small bottle, then he take out as much as he need and put it in a small box too, spray in a small amount of water and mix evenly. Finally, put some lubricant on your hand to prevent the clay from sticking to your hand. So you can get the copper clay. Then the clay can be shaped, fired, and polished. And this is the second method. This comes from YouTube too. This method introduces the whole process of preparation of silver powder to finish the product. I think this method he used is relatively simple, and the silver clay he made is also very soft, so it's very worth trying. First, we should know how to extract silver powder from silver products. First, add nitric acid to the waste. Then, the silver nitrate solution can be obtained by heating the liquid with a low heat. The next step is to put cotton in a funnel, pour the solution into the funnel, and we can obtain the filtered liquid. This is step 5. And then, at this point, we need to prepare some vitamin C. Next step, pour a small amount of water into a wine breaker and then add methyl cellulose to the other. Then mix the solution, water and methyl cellulose in another beaker to obtain the mixed solution. In order to better integrate the solution, the mixed liquid can be placed in an ultrasonic cleaner and then add some reducting agents. which is vitamin C. Gradually, it can be seen that silver ions are reduced in solution and form fine powder. Pour the reduced silver powder into the funnel and the filter, and wash the silver powder with DI water. At this time, we can get fine silver powder. The content after step 17 is about how to make silver clay. First, pour the previously prepared silver powder into the beaker, add the methylcellulose solution, stir and then add more, about 5 pinch. And then add Arabic gum to make the silver paste more viscous. Add 6 to 10 pinch of it. After mixing, dry the silver clay. First, pour the silver paste on a large plate and spread it as flat as possible. After drying, the silver soil becomes dry. Scrape it off the plate. And then rub the dried silver mud together. Add 2 drops of detergent and 1 drop of lavender oil. Spray with a little water and then mix. Finally, add a little glycerin, which can prevent the silver clay from drying too fast. After the silver clay is well prepared, in order to prevent it from drying and hardening, it needs to be sealed with a fresh keeping film and then take out a proper size when it is used. I think this method is one of the best ways to make silver clay at home because it is comprehensive and professional, and it can get a relatively soft and high ductility silver clay. You can try it at home. The third method is a patent-required method I found. It records the experimental process in detail and also requires the detail mass ratio. At the same time, I think this method is better than the existing method because the plasticity and viscosity of the silver clay, according to the existing formula, are poor, and it is difficult to make a complex shell. Moreover, because the existing formula has water, so in making process, the water evaporates very fast, so it needs to be quickly made without mistakes, so that the work can be completely better. This requires a lot of skill from the producer. So the advantages of this invention are obvious. With this method, fine silver powder can be obtained. The particle size contribution is also very uniform. The dispersion is good. The metal structure of the silver products is compact, and the hardness is good. And there is no water in this formula, so clay is not very easy to dry. As a result, it can be shaped for a long time. First of all, I will introduce how to prepare silver powder with this formula. The materials needed are silver nitrate solution, dispersant, emulsifier, reductant, and activator. The specific making method can be read carefully in the PPT. I will upload it afterwards. In this production method, there is no introduction of how certain gram you need to add, but the inventor gave some experimental process in this patent. But this matching still needs to be determined according to the size of work we make. So it's better to make more matching methods when making to achieve the best effect. Then let's look at how to make silver clay. The specific process is shown in the figure below. Actually, all the silver clay are completed in this process. The ingredients used in this formula are micron silver powder, epoxy resin, triethanolamine, and paraffin. Among them, epoxy resin is a kind of adhesive, also we can call binder, and triethanolamine is a kind of thickener. So I'd like to introduce the materials of making silver clay or copper clay. It can be seen from the previous three formulas that although the materials for making metal clay are different, but the types are similar. To sum up, it is pour silver powder with solvent and water-based adhesive. The function of solvent is to make the silver powder better blend in the liquid, and the water-based adhesive is to make the silver powder stick together. When it comes to binder, also adhesives, let me give you a brief introduction. There are many kinds of adhesives. According to the source of materials, they can be divided into natural and synthetic ones. Natural binder means that the substance is derived from nature. This includes many of our common substances, such as starch, animal glue, rosin, and so on. Synthetic ones are produced by humans, which such as water glass, synthetic resin, and so on. Natural binders can be subdivided into plant binder, animal binder, and mineral binders. It should be noted that the production of making silver clay requires a water-based binder, as the silver powder needs to be turned into a clay state. Therefore, when using solid adhesive, it needs to be changed into water-based adhesive first. For example, like Arabic gum in the previous method, it must be used together with water. If, according to the using characteristics, the binder can also be divided into water-soluble binders, hot melt binders, solvent binders, emulsion binder, and solvent-free liquid binder. Solvent-free liquid binder is that the liquid is not heat, and it can be liquid at room temperature. Obviously, the binder used for making metal clay is the first one, the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. And then the thickener. The thickener is a kind of substance that can increase the viscosity of liquid. It can be used for making metal clay with adhesive. Many thickeners are emulsifying. When making clay, it can make silver powder not easy to stick together. Thickeners can be divided into natural and synthetic ones. It can also be divided into low molecular and high molecular ones. In fact, in the making of metal clay, high molecular thickener is used more because the binder performance of low molecular is slightly worse than the higher one. This is the fourth part of my content, which is about some precautions during making. The first point is that the melting point of pure silver is 961 degrees. If a causant is added, the melting point will slightly drop. So it needs to be fired at a temperature of no more than 850 degrees. The second point is the introduction of making a clay state. On the far right of the picture 1, it's a clay in wet state, which can be shaped at this time. And the middle one is dry clay. In the dry state, we can carve it. The left one is finished product, which can be polished. From the state of mud to the state of finished one, the silver clay will contract twice with a shrink rate of about 10%. The third is to pay attention to the baking time. The baking time of silver clay is very different from the copper clay. It will take 15 minutes for copper clay and only needs 30 minutes for silver clay. And the fourth one is that the clay must be dried before firing and cannot be directly baked in a moist state. The 5th point is the shortcomings of metal clay, which is also the continuous improvement of inventors. Although the hardness of work made of metal clay is up to standard, it lacks toughness and will easily break. This is very different from the cast silver products. The 6th one is that when the first attempt is made to mix metal clay, it's necessary to test the firing temperature first, so as to avoid the failure of production and waste of materials. Finally, I will show some works. Last time we have already shown some pictures, so this time I will make some supplements to provide some inspiration for our works. This is my reference. popular 끝났습니다. 감사합니다.